Hey everyone, welcome to the Papercraft video tutorials. In this tutorial we are going to be designing and animating a robot-like character. So let's go ahead and get started. Earlier I asked you all to collect the dimensions of your characters, and you took out a ruler, you measured in a 1/16 of an inch each component. So hopefully you were able to collect like the height of each component as well as the width of each component, in addition to also how far back it goes. So I actually measured mine on the computer, so my numbers are not going to be the same as your numbers, but as long as you're consistent, then you're fine. And I want you to be consistent with your numbers and not my numbers. But that was one example. For like the body, if I know how wide it is, and I know how tall it is, and I know how far back it goes. So if I measured each of these, I would know how to create that, or I would be able to essentially create that Puzzlecraft body over there. Okay, and I did actually measure all those out. So in Inventor, start a new standard.ipt, and we're just going to be drawing out the blocks that are eventually going to be making this character. So for the face, it's just a rectangle. And for my dimensions, I had this as 11/16 of an inch. Yours is different, so please refer to your sheet. Yours should be probably considerably larger than 11/16 of an inch. And then for this, I had 1 inch. So dimension, I had 1 inch for this. And I'm consistent throughout so that when I put it all together, it all fits. Something I haven't really stressed, and it's hard to explain until you actually see it, is you cannot scale 3D objects well in most programs unless you scale everything. But if you scale everything, then it doesn't actually help. So if you make the head too big or too small, and you ask me later how to fix it, make it the right size, it actually becomes a process of trying to fix, and usually it's just better to try and get it right the first time. Okay, so I also measured this out to be 1 inch. So this is my character's face. Eventually I will add all that detail in there, but this is just the block that makes that. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. File, let's just do a save. And create a folder if you haven't already. And you can click this button up here, create new folder, to create one. And then just make sure you're saving in that folder wherever it's at. And I'm going to call this face and hit OK. Okay. Next, I will do the body. So you just have to keep going through each component, and I already measured out the body as well. So File, New, Standard.ipt, Start 2D Sketch, click on this, and draw out the body. And I believe I measured this out to be, I want to say 11/16 of an inch, but since I'm not 100% sure, and I like getting things correct, it doesn't hurt just to measure it out again. So yeah, it looks like it's about 10/16 of an inch, and the other two were the exact same. So I'm going to make sure this is 10/16 of an inch. Okay? That small amount of time I just took to make sure something is correct can help out a lot later on. Okay, so 10/16, 10/16, 10/16. Okay, do File, Save As, and then this will be the body. Okay, so I'm going to continue this with the last 3 components, the 2 arms and the legs, and I would like you to do the same. So if you think you got the idea, you can stop part 1 now, and I'll see you in part 2. Otherwise, you can just watch, and I'm just going to keep going on with this process. Okay? Peace. Okay, so if you're still here, for the arm, I need this one, and this one. And for the legs, let me take a look. I would need this one, The legs are a little tricky, it looks like. And this one. No. I need this entire thing. That one, and I need to know how far back it goes. And they don't really stress it, so it's probably this one. Okay, let's get my handy ruler out and start measuring some things. I'll start with the arm. Inches. It's about 1/4 of an inch. Then this is about 1/2 an inch and 1/4 of an inch. One, two, three, four, five, six. That's 7/16. And 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to do the arm next. Start new standard.ipt. Okay. I'm going to draw out a rectangle. And we said it was 1/2 an inch. So I guess I'll type 0.5. And for this it was 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. And then extrude this out 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and I'm just going to save this as, let's just say arm. New standard.ipt. Start this one for the legs. Okay, and this is 7/16 of an inch. And this was 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to extrude it out 7/16 of an inch. Do file, save as, and call this legs. Okay, so I have all my files. Let's move on to part 2. See ya.